Hello, my name is Flampadimpa, and welcome to a new series. We are going to be playing Computer Tycoon. I've already played a little bit around with this, so I think I understand enough so that it's not going to be slow and annoying as I learn the game. We're going to start by playing on historical mode, because I prefer that a lot more. Alright, and let's select this. I don't know why, but this image, I hate that face. I think it doesn't quite look human. The hand here is too big over this one. No offense to the artist, just I don't like that image. So let's go with this guy right here. And then replace this person with that old one. For color, I hate dark blues. This is a very negative start to a video, isn't it? But let's go with a nice red. Yeah, that's nice. That's not red. That's better. And I've already played a couple of games, so let's just play on normal difficulty. Alright. Let's have all victory goals selected because I am yet to reach the end of the game yet. And for company name, I'm going to go with DataWare. It's what I was using on testing, and it doesn't sound like a horrible name, so... And if I tried to think of another name, that would take another 20 minutes. So let's just get going and say Jeff Jeremy. 2 first names. Never trust somebody with 2 first names. Go. It has this fun loading screen that is not so fun when you keep trying to load it. I can't quite tell if it's joking about the memory. To make this as excruciating as possible for my audience, I'm going to stay quiet while it loads. Just kidding. See, the fact that it loads all the way up to 90% then loads this makes me think that this is a cute animation thing that they do. But that bothers me because it's not cute. It takes too long. You should have a skip option, which as far as I can tell, you don't. If you can hear me pressing space key a bunch of times, that's me trying to get it to skip. Instead, I just closed the software, didn't I? Huh. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I seem to have crashed the game with my exploits, but I went ahead and just redid everything exactly the way I did. Let's get started. Alright. I will note that I didn't actually say it beforehand, but too many ums in my videos, aren't there? In terms of the company bonus, I went for research just because it seems to be the most radically expensive to get off the ground. So let's get started. I've already played this a little bit, so I'm not an expert by any means. That said, it seems to me that it's a good idea generally to build one plant and just upgrade everything you can into it very quickly. So I'm gonna go to India because it's in poverty and it's a massive market, and the benefit of with a relatively high tax rate. Another option, other countries with massive population include like Indonesia, you could say Nigeria, but the benefit of India isn't only its massive population. If we sort the market by population, cutting out closed countries, and then sites and markets, and then we sort by population, we can see that one gripe I have with the game is that this list is weirdly hard to click on. India is by far the largest market as such, and it has a relatively high tax rate. And then with this feature, at the end of every year, if you've been operating a level 3 factory or level 4 laboratory, then the tax rate decreases to a minimum of 5%. And so that's a good reason to build a massive factory here. So I'm going to establish my first build site here. Because this game isn't that big, I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing as I go on for right now, just take a leap of faith with me that I'm building this in India for a logical reason. Then under site overview, we go to this gears, which is how to build a factory. And we're just going to upgrade to a level 1 factory. Then we're going to get started on a recreation level to upgrade the factory later. This functions only, so far as I can tell, to allow you to build higher level factories. We're going to immediately build a logistics department here, which allows you to enter more countries the more you expand it, which is basically always just a good thing in my experience. So let's build here, upgrade this right here. And then in order so that we can increase this level later on, we're gonna build an office here. And that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna refrain from building research facilities right now until we have our first computer out. When we do so, we're gonna look for a rich country with a massive market, or filthy rich country. I went with Ireland in my testing playthroughs. If we sort by wealth, we can see this dark brown color is filthy rich, so Ireland, Norway, and Switzerland are all good options. Or I believe the United Arab Emirates. Because I haven't done the United Arab Emirates before, I think I'm going to go with that just because it's more interesting and it has a higher population. Wait, does it have a higher population than Norway? Yes, it does. Does it grow faster? You can see the estimated monthly growth is 9K. As opposed to here, it's 2K. So, yeah. I am going to check. In India, they mostly want the green feature, which, just to remind myself, is ease of use. Alright, I am doing a very bad job explaining this, I'm sorry. So let me go through it. So, I don't think the tutorial is the best because it's kind of just blocks of text, but I understand that this is an indie developer, and this is reasonably all that you can expect from a one-man team at the moment. So I'm going to do my best to help. In terms of how this game works is you have all of these different countries. Using this resource called LP, that was what I was talking about, building a logistics department, you can expand into different countries and allow yourself to sell in their markets. Every one of these countries has a population right here on the side of the screen, monthly growth to that population. It has a wealth, and then it has a preference. And then there's some countries you can't sell in that are communist, such as the USSR in 1974. In terms of these preferences, there's 6 different categories, and these are different levels of computers. So you see features, ease of use, performance, prestige, quality, and capacity. So that's pretty good. I'm uncomfortable too, don't worry. My own I'm improving my ability to speak on camera, in case you can't tell. Alright, using this site that we built in India, we are going to be building factories, which allows us to increase our PP, so to say, which is the number of computers that you can create. And then the DPP value is how many computers are wanted. RP is how much research you generate towards new features. I'll show that later. And that's that. So let's just get started on our new computer after looking at preferences. So I know I would like to sell in India. Their preference, again, was ease of use. And if we go by that menu, we can see many countries, including the United States, have ease of use as important. And these countries here, it seems like it's going to be a very solid thing to focus on based off of the fact that many rich countries have it as a focus and many countries with high populations. In terms of other countries with high populations, if we sort by this list again, we can see that Japan is going to be a market that we want to target, and Bangladesh. Bangladesh wants red. Japan wants a little bit of red. Red is features, just to remind you. And you can see features is also relatively popular in Europe. And so that sounds like it would be a good choice. Orange is prestige. So for the moment, I believe I'm going to focus on ease of use and features. And then maybe prestige as a secondary. Just checking these. Capacity seems like it's solid. Nigeria has a very high population. And Guinea has a relatively high population as well. That said, I think it's more economical to focus on performance over features, and in this game I have found that it seems to be always best to just put everything you can into every category, but that's not very fun if you ask me. Ooh, we can see that in Pakistan, which has a high population, Brazil, which has a high population, and France, performance is actually pretty high. So I think we're going to focus on these three, which is to say features, ease of use, and performance, and then prestige if possible. So let's get to building our computer. So let's create a new computer, a home computer, and I'm going to call this the data box. Alright, so I've decided to call my home computer the data box. Right now I don't have any accessories or movable media or a GPU. Again, we want to focus on features, ease of use, and performance. I believe that the number one thing I want to focus on was ease of use. So let's just go to OS, because it's the closest, put an optocode, and then put ease of use all the way up and features all the way up. Relatively speaking, 11 is very much not that many production points, and it's not a high upfront cost to pay, so we're going to just have a really great OS for 1974. I don't think it's worth the effort to name your specific hardware. For display, let's create a new display with blinking indicator lights. We said we want features. We can see that this is incredibly expensive relative to the last one. We said prestige would be nice. However, I do think it might just be important to give up on prestige right now. I think if you're playing ideally, you put this to 100%, you put basically everything to 100%, but just for fun right now, I'm going to put prestige all the way down and just make this a relatively cheap 72 display. And that is going to be, I think, it's not like I'm playing incredibly suboptimally. It is going to be useful to have a cheaper computer design, especially in the starting game where we don't have an enormous production capacity. Let's create a motherboard. And I find with motherboards, it's basically always a good idea to just max out your levels of quality and features, just because of how cheap it is again, at least in the early game. For a power supply, let's put a heatsink in. Well, do we want to put a heatsink in? It is so cheap that I think it's worth it. Alright. And in case you can't tell how this works, if you're coming here because you're new, we have these different slots. All of the ones outlined in red are necessary, and then you can put, for example, displays which aren't strictly necessary, you can put them in too. And you can go in and create a hardware for each one, and it adds up to create your data box with different values for ease of use in these other categories. Storage can get extremely expensive in the early game. You can see it's already 208, and then if you add like a lot of capacity, you can see it's like dwarfing everything else in production cost. Capacity again was important in a couple of countries. I'm not going to worry about it for the first computer. I'm just going to put a very small amount of capacity. See that? I'm not even sure what you could run on a computer like that, but we're going to go like that. And then we're going to put performance up and quality down, just to make this cheap. Alright. For our CPU, this one is going to be important because, again, it's what we're focusing on, performance and features and ease of use. It's very expensive and it doesn't scale linearly. It's only 0.4 performance better, so overclock it that much. I don't think it's worth it for how much it costs in creation and upfront cost. So we're just going to create that CPU, and then we're going to create our RAM. Actually, I don't think this is RAM yet, but somebody that knows more about computers, feel free to yell at me in the comments, please. I'm so small on YouTube. I need people to yell at me to not feel alone. Anyways, let's overclock this for performance points. I don't feel the need to have good capacity, but I will have some because I think it's required. All right, and is that everything, or am I missing something? I believe that's everything for the moment. For pricing, the game recommends 8,000s. We are number 1 in every category, but that's because nobody else has released theirs yet. So we're going to set our price to 8,000s just because that's what they recommend for the moment. We might be able to adjust that later. We are going to mark this to casuals because it kind of matches what we're focusing on anyways, and I believe it's a very large, it's the base group to target, and it's a very large group. We are going to emphasize, because these are casuals, the ease of use. I believe ease of use very essential. Might as well be put until I know what's better. I don't remember exactly what's better from my last playthrough. We can put performance up, although I'm not sure that would be important to a casual. Features would be important. Capacity probably wouldn't be. Let's just leave this like this. And then I basically always do crazy. Yes, it costs a lot. And I'm going to leave this as it is until I have more information. For the campaign, I also almost always put it on crazy just because I want it to reach absolutely everybody. So I think I'm just going to do that. And we're going to start testing it over 30 days while we wait for our site in India to be built. So let's check on that. I'm going to start advancing time. And we don't want to start selling the computer when we don't have any production for it. That's wasted money. And we can now see that our level 1 of most of those buildings is completed right here. I will say I don't really understand how marketing works at the moment. That's another thing. Gives you marketing tools per level. Not sure what that means. Also, building more and other building sites will increase the effect of your tools seen on the marketing screen. Is that like the radio, television, etc. thing? I'm not sure. I guess we'll figure it out together. Alright, right off the bat, I'm going to upgrade the factory to even more because I found that this is the best strategy. In fact, I'm going to upgrade every building further. You can see that this is costing us money. Yeah, I'm going to need a higher level office. That's this one in the top right, but it's worth it, the upfront, I believe. Now that we have some production capacity and some logistics points, let's see how our computer is doing. In testing, it's about halfway there, so we're going to wait for this to finish. And testing just increases these units. I find it's useful. Alright, we can see that our competitors have started opening or branching out to new countries. So I'm going to switch to, is this dominance? Yeah, it is dominancy. So these are countries that they're dominant. Again, when nobody else is in anybody else's countries, everybody will be dominant in the places that they are. Let's market this and see that we get 10 out of 10s, which is great. I want to see how my computer, first of all, stacks up to the competitors. So we can see that purple has a computer. Not yet, apparently. I guess they haven't put one out, but they have expanded into the countries. Alright, let's get selling. So I know India is a market I'm going to want to be in. I'm just going to press A to set it to 1. Logistics points and close. If I set it to more, it gives me more money for every sale. But at the very start, I think it's most efficient and it's best to just get your foot in the door by having 1 logistic point spent by pressing A. There we go. We spent 1 there. And let's spend 1 in America. Home of the free, right? Alright. There we go. And you can see we suddenly have massive demands compared to our production because we're selling in the 2 biggest free markets. But our computers are easy to use. We turned that all the way up, I believe. And so we fit what the market desires. Now we just need to create more. It's going to be a little bit painful at first with the strategy I have, not having a bunch of separate sites. But I am just going to keep upgrading India. Specifically the factory we have in India until it can meet this demand, because one fully upgraded one can generate about 12.5 million units per day. And let's increase our logistics points because that just gives us more free money when we have the computers. And let's increase our office so we don't have to worry about that later. Alright, and let's just get going. And while we're waiting, let's look at our computers or our competitors. Let's put everybody here and then turn off archived, because that's not very useful to me right now, at least. All right, and is this everybody? All right, so let's see. We have the highest base price. So let's see if our computer justifies it. We have significantly better performance than all of our competitors. We have significantly less capacity than all of them, as expected. I basically gutted the storage and the RAM, the memory. We do have way more features than everybody else, so we are succeeding in everything we wanted to succeed in. Here's what I wasn't expecting, though. We have higher prestige than everybody else. And that points to me to the fact that we might be successful in Japan, because we are the best in the two major categories, and Japan is a great market. So that's probably going to be my next target to open in. As for ease of use, we are the highest, and that's great. And as for quality, we are also the highest. So we're the highest in everything except capacity. And so that's a great position to be in. And now our goal is just to dramatically increase production as fast as possible and to increase our logistics as fast as possible, so we can just start selling everywhere. I know it's the opposite of what I said, but I am considering opening another factory somewhere, like somewhere with a really high population that's in poverty, so that it costs less to produce, such as Indonesia. Makes a lot of sense. Let's just do that. It's not how I normally do things, but I'm experimenting. So same as before, I'm gonna upgrade this all the way. And I do like the kind of role-playing idea of this Indian Ocean company spreading to all major markets. Kind of makes a little bit of sense. Alright, you can see that other countries are successful. Our computer is significantly better in almost every way. The only reason we're not beating them is because we're not in those markets and we're not producing enough computers. So we're just waiting for our factories to upgrade. I should have started upgrading that. That's a bit of a mistake. And I'll upgrade this preemptively. Oh, I thought my logistics point said 0, but it actually says 8. Even so, I'm going to upgrade, but it's time to move into more markets. As I already stated, I think Japan is going to be a good market to be in, so let's just get our foot in the door by pressing A. And there is an argument to be made to deny other people their markets by spreading into theirs first, and that feels vindictive and cruel, so I love it. So let's spread into... wait, this is capacity, isn't it? I'm not going to do well. No, it's not capacity. Okay. How much does capacity matter in the countries it matters in? Basically, only a lot in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries. Maybe Czechoslovakia. Yeah, Czechoslovakia. Not a country anymore. But then again, neither is the USSR. So what is the blue feature? Oh, performance. We're really good in performance. Yeah. So let's expand into Brazil. Here, I'll use this map menu. Or this one, which shows the countries that I have expanded into, the markets that I have expanded into. Or actually, let's use this one just to see if there's any big countries I should deny to competitors. Indonesia has a relatively high population. That's right. Yeah. Not Indonesia. Thailand. And I know I can win there with my computer versus theirs. So I'm going to expand into their country as well. And into Spain as well. And into Turkey as well. Alright, and into Iran as well. I assume it's going to close in the future if this follows historical trends, but for the moment, that's money that I can make. Morocco has a high population at 17 million. However, I think at this point I'm just going to go by high populations that I'm not in. So Pakistan, logistics, and then I'm pressing A. And Bangladesh, logistics, and then I'm pressing A. Alright, and as I unpause, I think I'm going to start... My red is going to expand quite a bit. That's pretty good. I am curious. I don't seem to be winning in Brazil or the other countries, but you can see I have a presence. I think it's more that I don't have enough computers I'm making to take over the markets yet. So let's see how this factory is going. It's about halfway built. Alright. And now we're just going to Oh, I don't have enough money to build a higher level factory. I'm gonna upgrade the recreation and this for the moment. And then I'm gonna go to my site in Indonesia and upgrade that factory as well. And the recreation center. And the logistics. It might be worth it to take a loan at this point, I am thinking. Yeah, you can see I'm only supplying about a quarter of my potential base. How much would the upgraded factory cost in India? Am I missing it? Price 12.5 million. Okay, I have that now. Alright, so we're going to upgrade that to produce quite a bit more. And cool. We are now reaching our full potential. If you go back to the world map, hopefully you can see me start to take over other countries. I'm not. That's really a shame. Alright, oh, I have a lot of logistics points to spend that I missed. As much fun as it is trying to attack other people, I am just going to go off of the market list high population again. And by pressing A, I just expand. Get my foot in the door, as I've been saying. And my computer isn't the best in everything, but even though it isn't right now, it might be it's not the best in capacity, but even though it isn't the best in capacity right now, it might in the future. I think it's best just to get my foot in the door, as I've said like a billion times now, especially in rich countries, because you make more money selling in rich countries, or countries that are richer than other countries. It's not just rich countries, it's also like, what's the word called? Super rich countries or average countries. You make more money selling them than in poverty countries or poor countries. I don't have to explain this, I'm pretty sure all of you get it. And I'm just expanding into all of these countries. Wait, can I just double click? That is a lot easier. Alright. And I'm down to 4, 3, 2, 1. And I was just counting the logistics points in the corner. Alright, and the world is turning red, and I've taken over Iran. Although only a little bit more than half of them. Alright, this is great. And you can see I'm not producing enough computers for my load anymore. So I'm just gonna do the final upgrade of the factory here. And I'm not gonna fund this completely when it's fully upgraded, because that's gonna be way too many computers for my purposes. I do think now is a good time to start making research. I'm sure other countries are, and there's going to be a period where all of their computers are way better because I'm not researching as much. I have the best prestige, and so I'm going to do well in United Arab Emirates. They have a relatively high tax rate, so having a research there would be useful compared to the other filthy rich countries. Norway might be better, objectively. Wait, what's the population of Switzerland? That's high. Switzerland might be best, now that I'm looking at it, because of their high tax rate. I know it, this is a role-playing decision. It makes more sense, I believe, to go into Switzerland because I have more to save with lowering their tax rate, and they have a higher population right now, although probably not in the future. The downside to that is that in the future it might be better to be in the United Arab Emirates. And then also I can keep this theme of having my factory in India, my factory in Indonesia, and my research in the United Arab Emirates. It's all geographically here, and I think I prefer that. So let's go with that. Even though it might not be abstractly the best decision. So let's open a research department here, preemptively build an office, and preemptively build logistics. And now I'm gonna check as time passes, there we go, whether my marketing is reaching everybody. It's only reaching 89% with crazy. It might be time to experiment with marketing departments, but I'm not sure.